I'm watching back a couple of my more recent YouTube videos. I haven't made a YouTube video since last year, and before that, I wasn't consistently posting for 2 years. I haven't been consistently posting since I was a freshman in high school. Now I'm going to become a senior. And man, I was very arrogant, unhumble, pathetic. At the time, I respected this part of me editing the videos at the time. I could not see any error. This is ignorance. I want you to, if you are watching this and you remember what any of my videos are, man, I was very pathetic looking back at it. And I'm sorry. I think humbleness comes through trials, tribulations, and time. You need a lot of maturity. We need time to mature. Oh man, I'm watching my old videos. I'm like, damn, I look fatter, bro. But shit, we're gonna lock in. I'm 245 pounds. It was like 210, 220 in these videos, but I think it's very important. I made a video about this of having a council of men, or just people in general, to give you advice, and that still holds true to this day. Very important. And be open. Seek, and you will find. If you seek God with all your heart, you will find. If you seek knowledge too, you'll find. Whatever you seek, you will find. If you seek hate, you will find hate. If you seek love, you will find love. You know, but I in these next coming months, year, I will try to post more. Saying this for like in a year and a half. But I do want to post more. I want to buy a camera and start investing my content. But we'll see. Excuses are boundless, unlimited. Action is scarce. It sounds like I'm trying to say something deep, but this is real. Like, you can have an unlimited excuses, but taking action is very rare. But we know this. It's obvious, you know. But I think some of the biggest lessons I learned these past year or two is just don't assume. Have faith in God that He has a plan for your life, and just have faith in general. Have faith that there's better things for you. I've been struggling mentally with the thought of a past relationship I was in, just thinking about everything. And this can leave you very distraught. My best advice would be to, this is me talking to myself in a way, is just to continue to have faith in God. There's always better things in the future if you are patient. There's an abundance of women, and we always can grow. And when we grow, our options get bigger if we're just looking, at a more of a logical sense. The better we become, the better selection we have. But I think it's bigger than that. I think once we realize that we don't necessarily need a relationship to, live, of course it would be nice, and God gives that desire to almost every man. And there's certain men that are called to living the single life to serve the Lord. I'm aware of this. The Apostle Paul is one of them, and he advocates for living the single life and following God, which, I don't think I'm being called to that. I could very well be called to that, but I don't know. I've been always had a strong desire to be married and have kids, which is great and normal and God given. Um, Man, I'm also kind of glad to see the growth, that from me being so young, just watching. This is what inspired me to make this video. Just, seeing the ignorance and just rudeness I was during, my interviews and videos with Jose. Um, I think, we have to grow and adapt and, um, you know, yeah, very grateful if you watch this video all the way through. You don't know me. Nobody on this channel knows me. But watching this video will get you closer to knowing me. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I'm just very grateful for your time. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. I know somebody will. I know it's not going to get 0 views. And that one person will have the opportunity to hear me. Hope you can see the genuineness. But this is for me, mostly too. I have some big things planned for myself. And maybe you guys can see that through my channel. I think it's good to be open, not be afraid of the repercussions of how others feel about you. Made a lot of YouTube videos, my freshman, a little bit of sophomore year, and you know, really didn't get a lot of crazy backlash from my peers at school, or just mockery. Of course, received some, and that's normal. When you put yourself out there, there's a risk of embarrassment, but it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to be embarrassing. That's okay. But we grow and move on. They're not going to stop you. Nobody can stop you besides God. And a lot of the times, God, he is a teacher from afar. He lets us make mistakes and learn from them, and intervenes when necessary. Thank you, Jason. You know who you are. I'm just very grateful for you. I'm just in my headspace right now because I'm just very grateful for God putting you in my life. He's giving me a better sense of direction and having a better plan for my life before I met him. And a couple months ago, I was just aimlessly living off the confidence of my mindset, but not having a plan. And so I'm just very grateful for everything, and glad whoever is watching. God bless you. Hope you guys will see a big change for me. I'm more humble. I started making videos when I was 14, 15. Now I'm 18. You guys can see a big change. And big things are coming soon. This won't be the last video I post. Hopefully not.